Welcome to the Fouts Boxing Theory breakdown of Matias versus Ergashev. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Do all that fun stuff. Thank you, thank you. Here we go into the video. Now, the first round started interesting with Subriel Matias, who's obviously the pressure fighter, moving off the line, trying to get a good gauge of what it is that Ergashev is going to do. Now, Ergashev, one of the first punches that he throws, as soon as he gets on the line with him, is just a huge straight left hand, really trying to get a lot of value, get a lot of damage on Matias, and try to kind of surprise him. Okay, now he lands like a little bit of a body shot here, Subriel Matias, and this is the first round. I don't think he was hurt. I think it was just his feet were tangled. But the fact that he's shoving Matthias around this easily, right, shows that he's really trying to put a lot of damage on the line, controlling him here, finding a shot right through the guard here, and then not really following or not landing his follow-up shot, showing that Matthias is not hurt. Boom, he's getting off the line from this shot. But we can see this is the first 30 seconds of the fight, and Ergashev is really putting hands on the line, really trying to get a lot of control. Now, the last time he made that shot right through the guard. This time he didn't make it. Subriel Matias is going to start making slight adjustments, but he is going to have a very, very slow first round. Okay, now Ergashev controlling space with little probes here gives him a probe here, and now most fighters, right, when you probe at them and you or someone probes at you and you cross their line, usually they just back up. Ergashev was fast enough here that he was actually able to still attack him, boom, boom, and make a a scoring sequence out of this when Matthias was looking to get around that lead hand control. So very, very high level, very fast from Ergashev, and again, blasting him, just exploding out of his guard, control, right? Pushing Matthias off his line and throwing lots and lots of power punches. Again, super fast, super explosive stuff from Ergashev. Some success, right? Some of them, again, following up. Last time he did only 1-1-2 and then let go. This time he threw a 1, and then he even followed up with another 1-2, catching Matthias a little bit, you know, off guard by following up that sequence. But this sequence here is like 5 punches long. It's so long. Boom, 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 boom. All these hard punches, right? All this explosion. And he's not really hurting Matthias. Okay. Now, when Matthias just stands there, we saw what happens. He gets hit by combinations, and now he's going to try to get away from these shots here. Again, slipping off the probe, and again, walking into another very powerful shot from Ergashev. As Ergashev is really lighting him up in the first round, really doing a great job. Now, trying to make some adjustments, right? Instead of just standing there on the line, seeing that rear hand coming and getting his head off the line. Okay. Not getting hit by the follow up either. And again, now it's a 5 punch combination of snaps. And Ergashev is using a lot of energy, and Matthias has used almost none in that sequence. All right, now coming forward, controlling some space with that lead hand. And now, late in the first round, this is what starts to happen as Ergashev tires, controlling a little bit of space here, gets caught with a shot here, but he can't really keep up this pace, right? Throwing a punch every single time Matthias gets close, every time he does anything, just trying to punch him in the face as hard as he can. So trying to move off the line again, Matthias getting on the inside, and look at him shoving him already, right? Showing a little bit of frustration, a little bit of wear on him already in only the first round, okay? Couple of good probes, right? And now all this defense here from Matthias, guarding these punches, easily getting around them, not allowing Ergashev to control him. And then finally, once Ergashev stops controlling him and lets him get to the front foot, he's able to come forward and land an excellent shot right there. Just watch him get to the front foot. Boom. He's going to get to the front foot, and Ergashev is going to try to control him again. Here he comes. Not allowing him to get there. Now, again, Ergashev is one of those guys who apparently can't really block punches, doesn't really have head movement. Um, so when you get close to him, just like Demetrius Andrade, right? Um, he's going to throw punches or he's going to duck and his defense is going to be poor. But as soon as he starts getting tired and he starts letting you get close to him and the control doesn't work because, look, he has controlled that position. He's not getting hit by that shot. He's going to sneak onto the line and start landing really, really hard shots. Again, a pretty slow overall first round from Matthias, but getting a lot of information, a lot of different looks from him. And again, a lot of explosive defense from Ergashev as soon as Matthias gets close, throwing all these punches, right? Decent job after that move. Throwing that shot, boom, 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 throws a hook, and then he starts peeling off the line. right? Gets out of the corner a little bit. Now, round two starts, right? And Matias is coming through. Again, Ergashev has to have a lot of control over the line. Normally, people are probably running away from Ergashev, right? But Matias is trying to block, catch. He's trying to interact with these punches. Sometimes he's getting hit, right? A lot of explosions from Ergashev, but not able to keep Matias off of him. In spite of the fact that he's throwing all these punches, he's still struggling. Now, this was a 9-second clip here, you guys. And this was all in the second round, at the beginning of the second round. And Ergashev is going to spend the entire first minute of the second round snapping and throwing hard punches. Okay. After about the first minute, he slows down a little bit, and Matias starts getting onto his line. Right, a little bit of control here. Right, again, not as fast and not as snappy here, but look at how Matias is able to make contact with him now. He's not running. He's starting to stay close because if he creates any space, he's going to have to punch again and wind up in this position again. He doesn't want to wind up on the ropes, so trying to push him off. And Matias is able to get to this position and start landing that left hand right there, right over the very, very, very poor guard of Ergashev. Okay, now again, look at that guard here. Look at that hole over his right shoulder. Ooh, good shot. Again, a lot of explosiveness. And Matias starting to find his way around those types of attacks and start scoring himself. Getting to the inside and again landing a little crisp shot right over the top here. Really, really beautiful shot. Again, getting past the control of Ergashev. And again, Ergashev is always in this position here. He's always guarding the line with that bladed stance with the right shoulder forward. He's not really controlling space with the rear hand unless he's throwing it as hard as he can. And Matias is able to get past it and start attacking him over the top of his, I don't want to say his lazy jab or his lazy right hand, because it's not exactly that easy to say. Boom, boom. Now, again, trying to control some space, trying to land some hard punches, trying to control Matias, but he's not able to create any space here. As Matias has too good of a guard, he's not worried enough about the punches from Ergashev, and he's able to stay in position and start countering him and attacking him, doing a really, really good job. And again, this is something that would not be possible for Matias if he didn't have such decent defense, right? I don't want to say it's great, right? But look at him being so close, and again, that left hand over the right shoulder of Ergashev, landing that shot over and over again. But this is what David Benavidez was also able to do against Demetrius Andrade. Even though I think Ergashev is probably a much better version of Andrade, Subriel Matias is a different version of like David Benavidez, right? David Benavidez throws a lot more punches. I want to say coming forward, right? One thing that's kind of missing from Matias here is a little bit of probing, right? Finally working his way around Ergashev here. Again, so much energy it takes, right, for Ergashev to keep him off balance. And some of these shots are landing clean. Some of them are not landing so clean, right? Some of them are hard. Some of them are not that hard. But at the highest level, you got to land multiple hard punches to really put a guy down. Now, this sequence is really interesting because after all that snapping in the second round from Ergashev, he still winds up in this position where he's holding, right? He's trying to control some space by holding, getting a break, winding the clock down, right? That's not boxing. There's no reason for him to be there. Okay, the referee's going to break him, and they get close, and immediately he's going to start trying to get to a position where he can hold and grab again. Okay. Now again, it's really hard to throw punches the whole round. It's really, really difficult. They break again, and as soon as they break again, okay, pushes him, controlling with the lead hand, finds a shot, can't keep him off of him, and now he's ducking below the waist and trying to grab. Getting hit a little bit here, right? But this is just clinch after clinch after clinch from Ergashev because he can't block punches, he can't catch punches, he doesn't have head movement. His defense is kind of ducking below the waist and throwing punches. Kind of sounds a little bit like Shakur Stevenson, right? Now, it would be an interesting fight to see this guy fight Shakur Stevenson because he's so much stronger than Shakur, even though I think they're at different weight classes right now. Ducking below the waist, holding. Again, as Ergashev fades and his energy levels drop because he's throwing so many punches, and a lot of them are blocked, a lot of them are grazing, a lot of them are not doing damage, a lot of them are not effective for keeping Subriel off of him. He has to resort to more and more poor tactics for defense. Okay. Now, again, can't really keep him off of him. getting into this position, and look at him try to hold and grab his arm. And as he tires, more and more sequences start to look like this, where Subriel Matias is just standing there in front of him and just beating him up, clipping him with shots everywhere he goes. And again, ducking below the waist. Boom, still getting hit here. And look at this beautiful defense here. Boom, boom. Pulling this shot here, under that shot. Controlling, getting his guard up, coming around the jab here. Missed that shot. But again, there's no space here. Body shot. There's no space here for Ergashev to really create space. Landing a great shot there, landing another really great shot here. And again, is he going to punch when he gets here? Is he going to duck below the waist? Is he going to hold? Is he going to block punches? No, he's not going to block punches. He's going to eat punches. And again, all Ergashev really had was an ability to control punches or control space with his punches, which normally is pretty good. Now, I included this clip because I thought it was pretty sick. He's controlling space, boom, boom, 1-2, controls and pushes him off, takes a small step off. Now, he's stiff arming a little bit too much here. The ref should be warning him, right? Boom, lands that shot, lands this shot, and then he's got an excellent peel after this, after he pushes Matias off the line there, and he's able to escape the corner. Beautiful boxing right there from Ergashev. He just couldn't keep stuff up like this where he could throw a punch and then move and circle. He would wind up kind of getting stuck in positions, being tired, being stuck in positions like this, where Matias could just walk up on him and start hitting him with hard shots. Really, really, really easy shots to land too. And again, being able to catch and block punches is super important. Okay, you'll never become a great fighter if you can't do it. Even though you don't want to be blocking every punch, you don't want to be catching every punch. If you can't do it, you can't interact with guys. Anytime you fight someone who's, Demetrius Andrade, right? That guy beat a lot of guys who couldn't catch punches, who couldn't block punches because he's fast and explosive. So what happened? He fought a guy who was more fast and explosive than him and could catch and block punches, and he lost. But what's the real difference between him and him and David Benavidez, right? People in my comment section were saying it was strength. Again, look at Subriel Matias just walking up on his line, smack, smack, right hands. Those don't look like hard shots, but he was landing them over and over and over and over again. Now, again, just trying to body up, just trying to create some, you know, winding of the clock down, and again, ducking below the waist. And I kept this clip in here because look at when he ducks below the waist. Where's the legal targets? Look at what Subriel Matias is doing. Okay, check this out. This is why this is not legal. Where's he allowed to punch him? He's winning the engagement. He's winning right now, and he's being penalized because this guy's ducking below the waist. He should be able to beat the crap out of this guy, right? He can't land any punches because he's just staying there, right? The referee's not telling Shakur Stevenson not to duck below the waist. He's not telling him not to hold. Excuse me. Ergashev. I mean Ergashev. Now again, Matias once Ergashev started tiring, right? A little more stiff army, a little bit less snappy here. Boom, and starts eating punches, allowing Matias to get close enough to just snap on him and throw hard shots. And Ergashev tires, ducks below the waist again. Okay, but those sequences, right, getting closer and closer. Tries to control space here, eats a 2-3 or a 2-1, right, from him. Really, really good shot from the control. And again, Ergashev just found himself in less and less positions to defend himself, allowing, again, Subriel Matias, because he doesn't want to jab here, because look at Matias's guard. It's up. He doesn't want to stick his hand out. He also doesn't want to get hit with the straight right hand like he did in the last sequence. So now he's just going to allow Subriel Matias to surprise him with the shot, because he thought Matias was still waiting for him to go first. Now, again, just battering him now. Not really any defense from him. He's trying to move his head, but that's all fake stuff. And Matias is just absolutely beating on him now. And after a couple of really strong rounds, scoring-wise, from Ergashev, it just took him too much energy. He threw too many hard punches with not enough value, and he just could not keep Matias off of him. Even through the holding, even through this, even through that. Matias was just able to get to him, get close to him too often. And then here's kind of his little last stand right there. Eating a couple of shots on the inside, couple of shots here. Again, trying to still be a little bit explosive. but cannot really keep Matias off of him and just eating punch after punch after punch. It was a beautiful fight from Matias. He guarded the line well enough. I want to say well enough. You know, um, Subriel Matias is the kind of fighter. I think right now I'm giving him a B plus. I want. It's probably just a B, right? He's fast. He's not it's tough. I think it's B plus because there's only one fight on his record that he did not win by knockout, and it's the fight that he lost, which he did re-avenge that fight by knockout. So he hasn't knocked literally everyone out, but he has actually knocked literally everyone out. Okay, but even the guy because he fought him twice. But it's not easy to hit Subriel Matias. Shojahon is very fast, very athletic, very hard puncher. He has an 80% knockout ratio or so himself. He was undefeated. He's, you know, big for the division. All these things. I think he was five. Is he 5'10" and a half? Like Shojahon is a monster. And he couldn't hit Matias clean enough to hurt him, right? Matias, for the most part, was able to interact with all the hardest punches, roll with them a little bit, see them kind of coming, even getting hit by like that in one clip when he circled out after he got hit by the left hook. That wasn't the first punch in the sequence, right? He threw everything hard, so it's not like it was his hardest punch. It was the hardest punch he could throw as the third punch in his sequence. But not a lot of the most, effective punches from Shojahon, right? Shojahon, I would say, is like, let's see, like Errol Spence 2.0, right? Because he can actually punch pretty hard. Um, Errol Spence, not a hard puncher. Again, he's big for the division. Didn't knock out Sean Porter, didn't knock out Danny Garcia, didn't knock out Mikey Garcia, um, didn't fight Keith Thurman. Who's everyone regards as a real puncher. Like, why is the guy who says he hits really hard not fighting punchers? But anyway, I digress a little. Um, kind of like an Errol Spence 2.0. Decent. I think his punching power is a little bit better. Um, but he didn't really feint. He didn't really control Matias, right? He would throw all these big, long combinations, and all he needed was one punch and then to circle. One punch and then circle. One punch and move. Sneak one through the guard, throw one to control the guard, and then move. And then, maybe you can keep Subriel Matias off balance enough that, you can continue circling him. You can move, and you can keep him, from planting and hurting you, right? Which eventually he did do. But as far as Matias, the only thing that could make him a better fighter is if he could fight off of his own punches. You know, he fights off of his defense a little bit. He's going to guard the line. He's going to get to the line. He's going to protect himself until he gets there. He's going to see some punches coming. Doesn't see all of them, but gets to the line. He's hard to fight. And then he lets his hands go. He's fast. He lets lots and lots of hard, fast punches going. And he's really difficult to fight once he gets in range. Now, another thing he could work on probably, stepping jab. I don't think Subriel Matias has a stepping jab at all. Um, yeah, and probing, right? Just fighting off of his own probes, finding a way to come forward off of his own punches, and not just having to walk the guy down, but giving him something to work off of. Um, uh, when he fights a guy who's like, let's say, like if he fought Shakur Stevenson, right? If Shakur Stevenson, that delusional nut, uh, basically runs the whole fight pretending that he has a hand injury. Like, oh, I had a hand injury in all my fights. That's why I always fight like that. Um, if he runs from someone like Subriel, he's going to have to control space with the probe, get that guy to make a move, and then just try to make a move faster than him. Pendulum on him and, cut the ring off. Something that um, Shakur Stevenson's coach did point out that De Los Santos had a hard time cutting the ring off. He was trying to fight him in open waters. He didn't really fight him too much on the ropes for some reason. which obviously in my opinion, I think was fucking dumb. Like, come on, De Los Santos, you idiot. You're the hard puncher. Jump on that retard's line and punch him in the face. Go out there and win your championship. And in that way, I think that he's right. But also, the rules dictate that if a fighter refuses to engage another fighter, he gets a 10-8. 10-8 loss of a round. You deduct a point from a fighter who refuses to engage. That's what happened. What should have happened to Shakur, right? Now, if this guy wants to fight someone like Shakur, I'm not saying he's going to have a hard time because even when he's not punching, he's just coming forward. He's closing the distance between him and his opponent, and um, he's going to get into punching range, right? And I don't think Shakur Stevenson is good enough to get off of Subriel Matias' line. I don't think that he could, possibly go, win 12. Well, if he could control space and throw one punch and then move and then one punch and then move and then one punch, who knows, right? Maybe he could make it like Corrales versus Mayweather, right? But he's going to have to actually score. Not only that, eventually, Shakur Stevenson usually gets tired if he's forced to punch, right? Subriel Matias does not look like the kind of guy that's going to you know, throw a 1-2 at a guy, and then when the guy runs and runs and runs, he's gonna showboat and be like, "Oh, look, I'm fighting here." No, Subriel Matias is there for business. He's gonna walk him down. He's gonna keep coming forward. And I think if if Shakur Stevenson would fight Subriel Matias, which I want to say, if you care about Shakur, you should be telling him, "Don't fight this guy." Okay, Shakur, don't fight this guy. He's gonna beat your ass. Okay. But if Shakur was to fight him, he would have to control space and move the whole time. Okay. He can't stand there and try to throw combinations at this guy. I mean, he could throw some combinations. This guy doesn't counter that much. But as soon as he gets tired, right? This guy showed a pretty decent job at preventing people from ducking below the waist and holding, right? Because he wouldn't throw punches, right? He wouldn't just jump onto the line and allow the guy to duck below his punch and then tie him up. He would wait until he was in range, and then if the guy was trying to do that, he could take a step back. Something similar that Golovkin did to Daniel Jacobs. Um, but I think this would be a terrible fight for Shakur Stevenson. I think that Subriel Matias is. Excuse me, guys. I think he's very likely, you know, I'll say top two in the division. Okay. I don't think that Shakur Stevenson, these guys are at like 140, right? I know. Uh, I don't think Devin Haney should fight this guy. I don't think. Um, I mean, Regis Prograis could, you know, I don't know if he could spark him, right? But he would have the same game plan as um, Shojahon, right? But he likes to be the one coming forward. Now, Prograis does like to circle. He does like to move, but he's not very active with his punches. And he also doesn't block punches very well. Sometimes he does, but on average, he likes to move and circle. And I think that Subriel would give him a lot of problems. He would give him a lot of problems. He would make him look bad in a lot of sequences. But the thing is Matias can be hit, and Prograis is a real puncher. Um, yeah, he's a real puncher. I think he's a better puncher than Shojahon for sure. Um, yeah, but I don't think that would be a good fight for him. I think the winner of the Haney Prograis fight should definitely steer clear of Subriel, and that sucks. That sucks because I think that Subriel, the only person in any division around 135, 140 that I think should fight or consider fighting Subriel is Teofimo Lopez. I think he's likely the only guy that can really. He has the most. He has the power. He has the speed, and he has the footwork to really do that for 12 rounds against Subriel. I don't think Devin Haney could keep it up. Devin Haney relies on ducking below the waist and holding too much, and that's not a great um, strategy against Subriel. Haney a little bit because let's see, he has the stamina, which is interesting because he can keep going and he can throw a lot of punches and he doesn't tire. But when he runs out of ideas, he ducks below the waist. He does stuff that's not boxing, and that not boxing stuff is really bad. Um, but yeah, 135 and 140. I don't think that there are very many people that are going to be trying to fight this guy, and for him, that sucks. You know, this guy's really talented. He's really hard to fight. He's really good. Um, and I don't think Teofimo Lopez should fight him, but I think he's the only one that can really challenge him. I think that he'd be fast enough to control him, throw hop, little pot shots, and then move, not get pinned down in the corner, keep up the keep up the pace for 12 rounds. Maybe 8 rounds, and he loses 4 by getting beat up a little bit. Tio's defense isn't always that tight either. Sometimes he likes to get in that fake shoulder roll shit too and get clipped. And that would be really bad against this guy. But I do think Teofimo Lopez is, maybe a little bit bigger than Shojahon. Now, on that note, actually, speaking of bigger, when we think about Devin Haney, I don't know what this dude is going to look like fighting at 140. He was already big at 135, right? So, oh, another fighter that should probably not mess with Subriel, and maybe he should, would be Lomachenko. I think that would be not a great fight for him either. Although he has the speed, the hand speed, and the footwork, but he doesn't fight very well going backwards. Anyway, I'm a big fan of Subriel. I was pretty sure that he was gonna beat the crap out of this guy pretty easily. I even bet him to beat his last guy like pretty convincingly too. Um, yeah, this guy might be, you know, pound for pound, he might be, one of the top 5 fighters on the planet. Now he needs to work a little bit on his defense, a little bit, right? A little bit seeing some of these punches coming because that last fight where that guy unloaded on him in the first round and it looked kind of ugly. um, it takes him a minute to warm up. Maybe he needs to work on his warming up in the back. But people seem to think that it's a good idea just to blast this guy. And in all honesty, like, yeah, why not? If you're Shojahon, you go out there for 5 rounds, throw all your weight at the line, see if you get it done, and then you just quit, right? You don't have to take the ass whooping that you agreed to, right? You don't have to spend the next 7 rounds getting the shit kicked out of you, getting beat up, because you already used all your 12 rounds of energy, right? Kind of make him sound like a little bit of a pussy, right? But I don't think there's another great way to fight Subriel. Eventually, the guy's going to tire whoever he's fighting, and that guy's going to get his hands on you, right? So at least he kind of went for broke and would throw some huge ass punches, and then, funny enough, at the end of the round, he's like, "Nah, you know what? Victor Ortiz did it. He still got to fight Mayweather. I'll do it too."